Hi there, I'm Peter Millard and this is 10 Minute Workshop, where 10 minutes in the workshop is never 10 minutes wasted. In the workshop this week, we're building a custom desk. It's an interesting piece. It's like a console table type desk with a little drawer unit underneath it as well. All that's coming up right after the jingle. So, we're back in the workshop. Yay! Feels like I've been away forever. I've been on holiday for a couple of weeks. And then I was out of the workshop for a few weeks before that, doing sort of kitchen fit and some other out of the workshop type stuff. So back in the workshop, nailing stuff together, thankfully. In fact, it's taken me ages to get started on this project. I've really sort of almost forgotten how to cut stuff up. I'm making a little console desk, a little desk and a set of drawers for somebody, made in the style of a console desk. It's not big. This is actually the size of the top. It's about 1,000, exactly 1,000 mil wide, a metre wide, and 600 deep. But like a console desk, you probably know the console table style. It's split lengthways. Well, this is asymmetrically split. It's split 60-40. So part of it will fold out like this on flap hinges. It gives them the client a nice big sort of work area at the same time as leaving their computer monitor and keyboard and stuff static at the other end. As I say, there's a little set of desks, there's a little set of drawers to go underneath. And normally when you make sort of console tables, console things, the legs sort of fold out to provide support for when the top folds out. Because of partly the little drawer unit, and partly because of how it's going to be situated, it's hard up against a wall, or it might be a bed. It's in a sort of spare study room. There isn't space for the legs to fold out, so what I'm going to do is actually have these as pull-out extensions. So that makes it a bit more interesting, a little bit more challenging, because obviously you've got to have a pull-out mechanism that's fairly straightforward, but also some way of getting at it again for maintenance, just in case there's any issues further down the line. Plus, of course, you've got to be able to fix the top to it, and the back. There'll be a little sort of board along the back as well, just to keep it sort of all together. So yes, I mean, not a complicated thing to make, particularly. A few little challenges along the way. But I think we'll start by making the little drawer unit, the carcass for that, and then the drawer boxes, and then we can sort of crack on and get on with the actual desk build. I've ended up with some sizable offcuts of sheet material, so I'm using these up on the drawer carcass, working my way through the cut list, then marking out the domino positions while the parts are all stacked together. So one of the things I'm going to do right over the base here, I'm actually going to raise the base off the deck a little bit by so that the top of the base comes in at 40 mil, just to get the bottom of the drawer fronts off the ground a little bit. And I've cut a little bit of infill here that's going to sit on the floor. I'm just putting that into here, and I'm using a little bit of 9 mil because the carcass is 18 mil thick, just to give me a centre line on this. When I've got that in place, then I can use the MFT to give me the centre line on the dominoes when I cut them. I've just plonked this down so I could do my usual tapping it carefully up to the line. Oh, look at this. Better to be lucky than good, I always say. So using a flag stop on the fence, I can reference off the back of the guide rail to cut my inboard mortises. Then continue with the edge mortises in the carcass sides, and finally in the top and the base. So I've got to confess, I've been out of the workshop for long enough that I am genuinely all a little bit rusty on this. I haven't done drawers for a while, so I'm actually just going to do a dry fit on this and just tape it together for now, just so that I can get the drawer boxes and the drawers lined up right. It's a bit kind of, the kind of thing that if you do it every day, it's second nature, but it's the first time in a little while that I've done drawers, so I need to just refresh my memory with the the Grass Dynapros. Anyway, so that was the top. So I don't actually make that many drawers. So it's probably been about sort of 5 or 6 months since I did the last batch. So when I do, as well as sort of working my way through the book of words that come with these very, very cryptic book of words, what I like to do is actually make up a little mock-up. It's worth doing if you've got more than one to do. If it's not, then no, you just sort of wing it. But a little sort of MDF mock-up like this, just taped together. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, anything clever, just to make sure that you've got your measurements right. I find it really helps. And then once you've got that right, you can just rattle through, you can batch process them then really easily. And the other thing you need to do, of course, is work out the spacings, especially if you've got drawers of different heights, different depths, top to bottom depths, not front to back. And you want the fronts to stay sort of reasonably constant. Yeah, it's not rocket science, but it's just, you just need to sort of fiddle about a bit, or excuse me, I need to fiddle about a bit with, just a piece of tape on the edge of the drawing, on the edge of the cabinet here, and just work out, where things go. It's not hard to do. And fingers crossed, it'll all work out when I make the actual drawer boxes. But we'll get cracking on those in a minute. But now I've got this measurement all sorted, I can rattle through those and get those banged through easily. With the measurements all set, I can cut the birch ply for the drawer boxes to size quickly and easily. Finally ganging up the drawer fronts so 4 can be trimmed to size in a single pass. I noticed yesterday the dust collection, though dust collection didn't seem to be doing much. That might be why. Completely jam-packed 20 litres of nasty dust. We'll clear that out. And for this, we definitely need a face mask. I normally do this outside, but it's pouring with rain just now. So I'll give that 5 minutes with the air scrubbers on. Let that dust settle a bit, let it get cleared up, then we'll carry on. So with the dust settled, we can set up the grooving bit in the router to run the grooves in the drawers. And notice that I'm using a zero clearance false fence to minimise the breakout in the ply. With the grooving complete, everything gets a thorough sanding to remove any sharp edges or odd splinters. Then the inner faces of the drawers get a couple of coats of clear, water-based satin finish polyurethane lacquer, applied with a foam roller and sanded thoroughly between coats.